Chosen one, you've reached the point where your name itself has become evidence. They're using your words to prove someone else is lying. Without even realizing it, you've flipped the entire script. The very people who once tried to brand you as the problem are now quoting you like sacred scripture, invoking your discernment as the final authority that settles arguments. Without lifting a finger, you became the voice they can't escape. Every attempt to discredit you was just another rehearsal for this moment, the moment when truth reclaims its throne through you. Your name now carries more gravity than every lie combined, and it's because you possess something that no system, no manipulator, no pretender could ever control: discernment. The power to see beyond the mask. The divine ability to detect deception even when the whole world applauds the performance. That's what made you dangerous, not to good-hearted souls, but to snakes, to manipulators, to architects of illusion who built their empires on deceit. So the coordination began. You thought it was random? How multiple people started shifting their energy toward you all at once. It wasn't coincidence, it was strategy. One person would plant a seed in conversation, another would share a concern laced with hidden venom, a third would sigh and say, "I'm just worried." Different people, different times, but the same carefully designed message. Don't trust the chosen one. It was a masterclass in manipulation. No simultaneous attacks that could look coordinated, no identical stories that could sound rehearsed. Just slow, systematic poisoning of every well you might drink from. So when you finally spoke your truth, the world would already see it as contaminated. But here's what they never expected. You didn't fight back. You didn't spiral. You didn't perform desperation. Instead, you did the most unpredictable thing possible. You walked away. You chose silence over spectacle. You protected your peace instead of your reputation. And that silence became thunder. It spoke volumes that no words could match. Fast forward to now. One of the very people who joined the smear campaign is living through the same nightmare they once helped orchestrate. Except this time, it's not coming from outsiders. It's coming from within, from the same hands they once trusted, the same mouths they once defended, the same hearts they once believed were loyal. The smear network has turned inward, and chaos is devouring its own architects. What's even more poetic, your name keeps surfacing in every conversation. The Chosen One warned us about this. The Chosen One saw this coming. The Chosen One told us about the snake. Your name has become the inconvenient truth no one can escape. A living reminder of how illusion was chosen over honesty. And at the core of this web, a pathological liar. Someone who lies as naturally as they breathe, shaping narratives so convincingly that no one dared to question them. You did. You saw through it long ago. Maybe you didn't make it public. Maybe you whispered it to those closest. But you said it. That person can't be trusted. They laughed. They defended the liar. They painted you as paranoid. But now, the contradictions have piled too high. The lies are eating each other alive. Even the most loyal defenders can no longer unsee what's been exposed. Your once dismissed warning has become prophecy fulfilled. Behind all the surface drama, an invisible network was operating. Secret alliances, hidden relationships, quiet meetings behind closed doors. People who pretended to be neutral were coordinating attacks in private. You felt it. You sensed it. You knew something was off. You noticed how information traveled faster than logic, how words you said in confidence echoed in unfamiliar places. When you called it out, you were labeled paranoid. When you spoke truth, they called it conspiracy. But you weren't imagining anything. There really were meetings about how to handle you. There really was a system built to contain your influence. And now that entire structure is collapsing. Someone just found out that two of the most trusted individuals, the ones pretending to play peacekeepers, were romantically and strategically involved this entire time. They had been sharing intel, deciding targets, and manipulating the board together. The person who just discovered this is devastated. They're realizing you were right about everything. Every intuition, every red flag, every word you tried to warn them with. You see, the whisper network that once tried to erase you was never just gossip. It was an organized character assassination. Each participant had an assignment. One was told to sway your close friends, another to plant doubt in your family's mind. A third targeted your professional connections. A fourth poisoned your social circle. They spread the same doubts, but with personalized delivery. I'm just concerned. Something feels off. I hope they're okay. Concern dressed as criticism. Worry disguised as wisdom. Your own words became weapons used against you. When you called out deception, they labeled you judgmental. When you set boundaries, they accused you of coldness. When you showed discernment, they called it negativity. But the truth? You weren't negative. You were accurate. And accuracy only feels threatening to those invested in lies. Now the cycle has reversed. The manipulator's empire is collapsing in real time. The ones who spread lies about you are now drowning in their own. The ones who isolated you are being isolated. The same infrastructure that once targeted you is turning inward, dismantling itself from within. Because to admit what was done to you would mean admitting complicity. To tell the truth would mean exposing their own hands, so they remain trapped, devoured by their own creations. And those lies they told about you? They're dying one by one. They said you were jealous, but people see now that you had nothing to envy. You walked away from drama, chose peace over popularity, and truth over approval. That's not jealousy. That's maturity. They said you were negative, but your negativity was discernment. Your realism was mistaken for cynicism, and your warnings for pessimism. You weren't negative, you were prophetic. They said you were dramatic, but the real drama is theirs. The chaos you foresaw is unfolding exactly as you predicted. Every betrayal, every consequence, and all manifesting as you said it would. They said you couldn't be trusted, but now your integrity is the new gold standard. People are measuring truth by your name. They reference your words as benchmarks for honesty. Each exposed lie strengthens your legacy. Each crumbling narrative reinforces your wisdom. You're not just being proven right, you're being vindicated. And through it all, your peace remains untouched. You don't chase validation, you don't beg for closure, and you don't need apologies. You already knew your truth. Their acknowledgement adds nothing to it. Your silence has been louder than any argument could ever be. While your words once got debated, your absence now delivers undeniable clarity. The chosen ones don't beg for respect. They simply withdraw it. You didn't fight to stay in rooms that questioned your worth. You left and let your absence speak for itself. And now your silence has become their teacher. Every echo of your name is a lesson they refused to learn until it was too late. So let's talk about what's really happening when your name gets invoked. It's not gossip. It's revelation. It's a reminder of how truth outlasts every lie. This isn't small talk. This is psychological warfare devouring itself. Every time someone says, "The chosen one warned us about this," something irreversible happens. A truth long buried forces its way into daylight. Right is being admitted, and that admission costs something heavy: pride. Because to admit you were right means admitting they were wrong. It means facing the fact that valid warnings were dismissed, that liars were chosen over truth-tellers, and for people who built their entire identity on being intelligent, discerning, and good judges of character, that realization is shattering. It costs credibility, because if you were right about this, what else were you right about? If you correctly identified this liar, Did you also correctly call out the manipulator, the user, the fraud hiding behind charm? Suddenly, every warning you gave gets revisited. Every observation once brushed aside gets reconsidered. Every person you expose now gets quietly reevaluated. Your entire record of discernment is being validated in hindsight, piece by piece. And it doesn't stop there, it costs alliances too. Using your name means breaking ranks with the very people who once discredited you. It means walking away from the safety of the herd that made you the villain. It means choosing truth over tribe. And for those who've always valued belonging more than honesty, that's terrifying. Yet it's happening, because the lie has grown too heavy to sustain. People will protect a lie for a long time. They'll even protect a liar longer, until that liar finally turns on them. That's when truth becomes precious. That's when your warnings suddenly matter. That's when your discernment, once mocked, becomes currency. It's not that people suddenly love truth, it's that now they need it. Your name is being invoked not for justice, but as ammunition. Your credibility weaponized to defend reputations. Your past warnings used as evidence in current chaos. And the irony, it's working. Because your authority wasn't built on popularity or power. It was built on integrity. You earned real trust. You established credibility through consistency. You said someone was lying about who they were. Now people are finding out the entire identity was fabricated. Fake credentials, false experiences, fictional connections. Everything you said about fraud is being confirmed in real time. You said someone was playing both sides, and now people are realizing they were being told different stories in different rooms, agreeing with everyone, committing to no one, using information like currency. You said someone was financially manipulative, and now the receipts are piling up. Borrowed money that never came back. Generosity exploited. Relationships treated as ATMs. Everything you warned about parasitic behavior is being exposed for all to see. You said someone was emotionally unstable, and now public meltdowns are unfolding exactly as you predicted. The volatility you foresaw is undeniable. You said the group dynamic was toxic and would implode, and now it's happening. The circle is eating itself alive. Betrayals multiplying, chaos spiraling, the collapse playing out in spectacular fashion, just as you described. Each prediction confirmed, each truth proven, each outcome manifesting, all of it adding another layer of authority to your voice. You're not just being proven right, you're being established as prophetic. You chose truth over belonging when everyone else chose comfort over integrity. You risked isolation for honesty. You valued accuracy more than acceptance. That's what separates you. That's why your name now carries power. You never switched your story to fit the audience. You never altered your standards depending on who was in the room. You stayed the same, grounded, steady, and real. That consistency built trust even among those who didn't like what you were saying. You chose silence over spectacle. When they attacked, you didn't retaliate. You didn't stage a counterattack or try to manipulate sympathy. You simply walked away and let truth do what truth always does: unfold. That restraint was power. That quiet was thunder. That silence became your crown. While others obsessed over revenge, you invested in growth. You healed. You evolved. You built a life beyond their reach. And while they spent their energy trying to destroy you, you spent yours becoming unstoppable. That's why you're the authority now. Not because you demanded recognition, but because your evolution spoke louder than their defamation. But here's what might surprise you. Not everyone joined the mob. There were people who saw through the fog, who quietly watched the smear campaign unfold and chose not to participate. They heard the lies but didn't spread them. They sensed the wrongness in the group energy and stepped back without announcement. Those people are feeling something powerful right now: validation. Their private discernment has been confirmed. They trusted what they saw when everyone else followed the crowd. They honored their own intuition even when it wasn't fashionable. They protected their integrity by refusing to destroy yours. And now, as the truth emerges, they're watching with deep respect. Some may even reach out, not to apologize because they never betrayed you, but to acknowledge you, to express recognition, to say, "I saw it too." Those people are your real allies, the ones whose discernment mirrors yours, the ones who recognized your light when others called it danger. Pay close attention to who they are, because when truth finally levels the playing field, the ones who stood quietly in integrity, they're the ones you build the future with. These are the ones who value truth over comfort, the rare souls who will stand beside you in the next battle, not just show up after the war is won looking for rewards. They're the ones who stayed silent but saw clearly, who didn't need the crowd to confirm what their spirit already knew. But then there's another group, the uncertain ones, the people who genuinely didn't know who to believe. They weren't malicious, they were just cautious, waiting for more information before they chose a side. And now that information has arrived, delivered through direct experience. The same liar lied to them. The same manipulator deceived them. The same user used them. Now understanding has replaced confusion. Some of them will approach you differently now, saying, "I wasn't sure then, but I see it now." That honesty, that humility, it matters. They're not coming with excuses. They're coming with awareness. And those who demonstrate genuine understanding through consistent action may just be worth giving another chance. Every deception reaches a breaking point, a moment where maintaining the illusion costs more energy than telling the truth, where pretending becomes too exhausting, where the cost of deceit outweighs its benefit. That's exactly where this situation stands now. The lies have grown too heavy to carry, the manipulations too obvious to conceal, the facades too fragile to maintain. The entire network that operated in shadows is collapsing under its own weight. And as the rubble falls, one name remains steady: yours. Your words from years ago still hold truth. Your integrity stands while theirs crumbles. Your foundation is unshakable because you built it on honesty, not image. That's the thing about truth. It never needs to evolve or update itself. Truth doesn't have to keep up with changing stories or shifting alliances. It simply is. And when all the lies fall away, truth remains right where it's always been, unmoved. Now, when people mention your name, they feel something complex, a mix of vindication, shame, relief, anger, and even hope. Vindication because the deception you warned about is finally undeniable. Shame because deep down they know you tried to show them and they refuse to see. Relief because someone finally gave words to what they were silently feeling. Proof that they weren't crazy for sensing something off. Your name gives them permission to trust their own discernment again. Some feel anger, not at you but at themselves. Anger for not listening. Anger at the wasted time defending lies. Anger at the realization that they helped protect what destroyed them. And others feel hope when your name surfaces. Hope that if you saw clearly, maybe they can too. Hope that if you healed from this, maybe healing is possible for them as well. To them, your name represents survival, the roadmap out of illusion. But there are still those who feel fear when your authority is invoked. Fear that you saw more than you ever said. Fear that their secrets aren't as safe as they hoped. Fear that if you were right about everyone else, you might also be right about them. Your name has become a mirror reflecting truth back at everyone, and not everyone is ready to face their reflection. Regardless of the emotion, one fact remains constant. Your name has become the key to understanding this entire situation. It's the code that unlocks clarity, the password that grants access to truth in a system built on deception. When the smear campaign against you began, People spent massive social capital trying to discredit you. Every person convinced to doubt you came at a cost to their own credibility. Every lie told about you was a debt borrowed against their integrity. Every manipulation used against you was a loan that could never be repaid. At the time, they thought it was worth it. Your isolation was their illusion of victory. They believed they were winning. But what was really happening was social bankruptcy. Because deception carries the highest interest rate imaginable, now the debts are coming due. The same people who rode the wave of lies are demanding refunds. Allies built on gossip are disappearing. Connections formed through deception are disintegrating. The social structure they built upon falsehood is collapsing in real time because foundations made of lies never last. Meanwhile, your spiritual and social capital is compounding. Every prophecy fulfilled is interest earned. Every warning proven true is a return on investment. Every observation validated is profit gained through integrity. You're not just getting your credibility back, you're collecting massive returns on the truth you invested when it wasn't popular. Now, whenever someone questions what's real, your name gets invoked. When stories fall apart, your words get quoted. When character gets questioned, your integrity gets referenced. You've become the reference point for reality itself. Your name is the ace that keeps being played, reluctantly by some, respectfully by others, but always necessarily. Every time it's mentioned, there's an unspoken admission that you were the one who saw clearly all along. Some people resent that deeply. They hate that they need your credibility to defend their truth. They despise that your discernment now outweighs theirs. But resentment doesn't change reality. And the reality is you earned authority through consistency, while they lost it through deception. Others, however, are more pragmatic. They recognize that invoking your name benefits them, even if it validates you. They understand that borrowing your credibility strengthens their case, even if it costs them pride. They know aligning with your truth fortifies their position, even if it means admitting they were wrong before. But regardless of whether it's pride, pragmatism, resentment, or respect, everyone's doing it. Everyone's using your name. Everyone's invoking your discernment. Everyone's referencing your authority. Because in a world where lies are collapsing and truth is resurfacing, your name has become synonymous with clarity, accuracy, and integrity. And beneath all this chaos, there's still a deeper layer. Someone collected money under false pretenses. Someone asked for help, raised funds, made promises, and used it for something else entirely. Maybe it was a fundraiser for a cause that didn't exist, a business venture that was really a scam, or a sob story that masked greed. Whatever the method, it was deception disguised as need. And now the truth is on the verge of exploding. The exposure of this fraud will devastate multiple people, because it wasn't done alone. There were others who helped plan it, who coached the liar, who made it believable. They rehearsed the performance together. And now that truth is creeping in, no one wants to be the first to break. Everyone's frozen in a standoff, terrified, because everyone has dirt on everyone else. The system that once thrived on secrecy is now choking on transparency. And you, chosen one, you're the constant they can't escape, the truth they can't rewrite, and the foundation they can't destroy. Everyone is threatening to expose everyone else. No one can make a move without setting off an avalanche that buries them all. The system they built on deception is collapsing from within, and somehow, through all the chaos, your name is still standing, used as the gold standard of honesty. The chosen one would never do something like this. The chosen one has always been transparent about money. The chosen one tried to warn us about people who exploit others for gain. Even in situations you have nothing to do with, your name is being invoked as the ultimate reference point for integrity. Your character has become the measuring stick of morality, Someone right now is in unique and serious trouble. A person who played a long game for personal profit. They attach themselves to situations or people only to extract value. They wore masks of goodness and virtue while plotting in secret. They built an empire of lies and used charm as currency. But exposure is coming, the kind that doesn't just reveal truth, but annihilates the entire operation. Something of value was obtained under false pretenses. It might have been money, opportunities, or social leverage, but it was taken through manipulation. And now, the questions are being asked. Where did the money actually go? Why don't the numbers align? What was the real motive behind all that help? The panic behind closed doors is indescribable. Because if exposure happens, repayment must follow. The money, the reputation, the status, all of it must be given back. But the problem is, it can't. The spending's been done. The resources are gone. The mask can't be unglued. And it gets worse. They didn't act alone. Others helped them polish the lie, craft the story, sell the illusion. People vouched for them. People coached them on how to sound convincing. So when this fraud is revealed, it won't just be one person falling. It'll be an entire network collapsing in on itself. That's why everyone is paralyzed now. No one can expose another without simultaneously exposing themselves. And yet, even in all this chaos, your name is the only thing untarnished. Your legacy remains clean, your truth unwavering. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. That's the divine law of return at work. Now let me put you onto something real, the Destiny Engine. I created this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation, and psychological warfare, while their enemies strutted around pretending to win. By walking away completely, by going silent and focusing only on yourself, you accidentally created a new game. A game where your absence became power, your silence became influence, your detachment became a magnet. The more you withdrew, the more people began fighting for your validation. Your approval became a currency no one knew they were trading until they lost it. Your name is now being used to prove points, to fix reputations, to borrow credibility. People are aligning themselves with your truth in hopes that some of your integrity rubs off on them. They're leveraging your name because theirs no longer holds weight. And the best part, you didn't have to fight for it. You didn't have to campaign, defend, or justify yourself. You simply stayed consistent in your truth and patient with your process. And the universe handled the rest. This is what real power looks like. Not forcing people to respect you, not demanding they acknowledge your worth, not begging for validation. True power is standing so firmly in truth that reality itself must eventually bend to reflect it. It's walking so deeply in integrity that time becomes your witness. It's being so aligned with divine order that justice manifests in your favor without you ever lifting a finger. This isn't just about being proven right. This is about stepping into divine authority. Your name carries weight because your character earned it. Your words hold power because your integrity reinforces them. Your discernment gets respected because your accuracy can no longer be denied. You were never the victim in this story. You were the calibration point, the universal example of what it means to stand in truth when everyone else chooses illusion. Look at the shift in power dynamics. They tried to erase you, to label you the problem, to make you irrelevant. But now conversations about truth literally cannot exist without your name being mentioned. You've become the haunting echo in every discussion about authenticity, the ghost in the machine, the reminder that truth can't be silenced. This is what it looks like when a chosen one refuses to compromise. This is the reward of protecting your peace over chasing validation. You didn't need anyone's approval. You had divine validation, and now the entire universe is reflecting it back at you for all to see. You're entering a new season, one built from everything you prayed for in silence. The peace you protected is about to multiply. The boundaries you set are about to be honored. The standards you refuse to lower are about to be met. The love you saved for yourself is about to be mirrored back by people worthy of it. But here's the ultimate key. The highest form of victory is indifference. You don't need to gloat. You don't need to say, "I told you so." You don't need to watch their destruction and feel satisfied. True power is being so far removed that you genuinely don't care how their story ends. Your job was never to punish. That's already happening without you. Your purpose was never to save them. They must save themselves. Your assignment now is simple. Keep building the life you began when you chose peace. Keep walking in alignment. Keep elevating your frequency. Some will try to come back. You already know this. Decisions will have to be made. Remember this. Just because someone finally sees what you saw doesn't mean they've changed. Just because someone faces consequences doesn't mean they've learned. And just because someone wants your energy again doesn't mean they deserve it. You owe no one a second chance who disrespected the first. You owe no one your peace just because they finally woke up. Your forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation. Your healing doesn't need their participation. Your growth doesn't need their approval. And so we return to where this story began. Your name being used in conversations you're not even a part of. Your warnings being repeated by those who once mocked them. Your discernment being validated by the same people who called you paranoid. The tables didn't just turn, they spun completely. You went from the outcast to the authority without ever having to fight for it. This is divine justice in motion. Not you screaming for vindication, but the world quietly realizing you were right all along. Not you exposing anyone, but truth exposing itself on your behalf. Your name carries weight now, not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. Not through popularity, but through integrity. Not through alliances, but through authenticity. You became the standard by refusing to lower yours. You became the authority by bowing to no authority except truth. You don't need them to use your name anymore. You don't need validation or acknowledgement. You're complete without it. When they invoke your name now, it benefits them more than it ever could benefit you. It gives them a reference point for truth in a sea of deception. But you already knew who you were. You already knew what you saw. You already knew you were right. Confirmation is just noise. Pleasant noise. Maybe vindicating noise. But still noise. Because the real victory was never needing it in the first place. Walk forward, chosen one. Head high, heart protected, boundaries fortified, standards unshaken. You didn't just survive the storm, you mastered it. You didn't just endure betrayal. You alchemized it into power. You didn't just sit in isolation. You transformed it into revelation. Your name is the authority now. Use that power wisely, not for revenge, but for purpose. Use it to protect, to awaken, to guide. Use it to build a life so aligned with divine truth that anything not meant for you cannot even enter your field. The war is over. You won. Not by fighting, not by proving, but by standing so firmly in your truth that reality had no choice but to bow. This is your victory lap. Take it slowly. Savor it. Because every betrayal prepared you for this moment. Every lie created the contrast. Every departure made room for your destiny. Every wound refined your strength. Everything led here. Every test shaped you. Every scar crowned you. And now you finally see it. You were never the victim. You were the proof. You were the prophecy. You are the chosen one. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlightened Wisdom.